Let's make shrimp lollies. We're making shrimp lollies, which is like fish food for your pet shrimp. It's basically feed coated onto a skewer that you stick into the tank to feed your neocardinas and caridina shrimp. It starts with a batch ticket that we print in the back. It's got our recipe and it shows how much to weigh into this bag. This one's got beetroot, whole peas, moringa, carrot, brine shrimp, spirulina, spinach, daphnia. These ingredients all smell so good. First, we need to prep these 6-inch bamboo skewers. We made these jigs to make the process more efficient. I put the finer mesh on top so I can visually check to see if there's any large particles that need to get regraded or reblended. We need to grade this down and make sure it's a fine powder because any large particles will mess up the shrimp lollies. So we're using this shaker machine and we've got it on a fine mesh. Now we're gonna mill down the large particles that were left over. Now we're sifting it again for a second time. This helps to mix it more. There's a couple chunks left. We'll just push those through. Now I've done hundreds of test recipes, way too many to count. And I made a guide for myself for each shrimp feed type that shows how much to weigh in, how much dry to wet. So here I'm weighing it out. I work with a local fish store in Mesa, Arizona to develop some of these feeds. And the owner, Joe, is a Navy veteran, and he's been helping me come up with names for these feeds. Like our green one is Midsummer Night's Greens.
Sexy.
And I said, I got a red one, but the name's not really good. And it was a Friday. And he said, why don't you just call it Red, R.E.D. And I was like, oh yeah, that's great. And then that's a way that we can show support for our troops. And so we made it the Feed on Fridays feed. So each recipe gets mixed for a certain amount of time that we measure, and then each one has to sit after it's mixed for a certain amount of time. This one is over an hour, actually, that we let it sit. I need to stir all the air bubbles out. If there's air bubbles, that's going to be a chip spot on the stick. So these are rejects, all because of air bubbles. See those chips and spots? Each one of those is where there was an air bubble. And we need to have the most beautiful shrimp lollies. They all need to be perfect. So that's why we wait. Aside from air bubbles, there's a lot of variables that will cause a bad batch. Too thick, too thin, won't stick, won't stay on the skewer. Sometimes it gets scaly like this. This was an old batch of the bee pollen sticks, and we fixed that and made it much more beautiful by further grading the material to have a smaller particle size, and then we get less scaling on it. And sometimes the mistakes are just they weren't dipped low enough. My wife keeps saying, you need to dip them all the way down because they look like they're half dipped. All right, now I'm going to check for the consistency just to make sure it's ready. And it looks like it's good. I'm going to start by dipping some individually just to double check that the consistency is right. Should get some drips. Still have air bubbles, but it looks like they popped right away and we're not getting any bald spots. So I think we can continue. Not good. Better. They look pretty good on the first one, except I hate it when they touch.
You never make them touch, man.
Because then they come out
That's not cool.
stuck together.
Not making eye contact. That's creepy too.
The beetroot in it and the other ingredients also really help the color of the shrimp, and it's a really nice smelling and nice, easy to use feed. All right, now we're gonna take some notes and we're gonna let them dry for probably 24 hours. They've been sitting almost 24 hours. It's been a day. They look pretty good. What do you think? Pretty good coverage. Some of them, I saw a couple bald spots, but we'll take those out when we package them because they all need to be perfect, or as close to perfect as possible. There's a couple chips, a couple spots that are bad. But I think it went pretty well. I'm gonna put them in the dehydrator now. I put it in the dehydrator at a low temperature until they're basically dry, and then at the end I'll raise the temperature to sterilize it before we package it. We're in Arizona, so they'll dry super fast. Unless it's rainy, they'll take extra time. I'm taking more notes now on the batch ticket. I want to include as much information as I can for each batch and give each one a unique ID number. All right, they're all dry now, so we're gonna store them in a temporary container and we're gonna write the batch ID number on there, take a couple more notes, measure how long they dried for. This is so we can keep improving and have a quality control. They'll stay in this package for a little while, and then we'll run a couple quality control checks on them, like dissolve rate and check for scaling or any other issues. Once we confirm that, we'll package them up in the final retail packaging. And we'll pack them up in these nice 4 mil thick, 6 by 2 inch poly bags. Print the labels here now. We'll probably get some custom Mylars printed at some point. I hope you could learn something from this video, or at least find it interesting. If you did, please subscribe. We're trying to get more subscribers. If you have any ideas on how to make better shrimp food or any kind of fish food, we're always open to ideas, and we always want to improve. Thanks again for watching. I hope it made your day a little bit better.